Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, and a very good morning, everyone. Miss Anne here again. All right, as promised, I did tell you that I was going to have another session on a writing strategy, but this time around we're going to use the four square strategy in literature. All right, so let's get on with it. Hopefully, this session will help you in generating more ideas when you are attempting to write or answer the literature question. Okay, all right, let me share my okay. All right, I hope you can see the screen. So like I said, we're going to use the four square writing strategy for literature this time round. Okay, right. So sometimes for you teachers out there, we have several issues with our students when we want our students to answer the literature question. Okay, first of all, most of the time our students do not read the book in its entirety from cover to cover. So most of our students only read notes from reference books. Most probably this is because not all students have the same ability to read very fast. As a result, that's why some of us resort to using reference book or uh, just notes. All right. So when they don't read the book in its entirety, the students are not able to elaborate. Therefore, the scripts become short. All right. So as teachers, we need to provide our students with scaffolding or framework and a structure for the students to follow. So hopefully the scaffolding or framework will be able to help students to write more so that they can write simple elaborations, and more importantly, they are able to give reasons or argue for their answer. Right, because giving reasons or arguments is part of the KBAT, in in answering the novel question. All right. Before we start the session proper, I would like to give credit for the use of the four square writing strategy to Madam Jenny Ho, because she was the one who created this strategy, and she has been using this strategy with her students as well as her guru di bimbing. Okay, because Madam Jenny Ho is one of the SIC Plus who is currently working at PPD. All right, so let's start. Okay, so the learning outcomes for our lesson this morning is that to listen to or read and respond to literary works by understanding and telling in one's own words the story and poem heard and read and giving one's opinion of the text. So a higher level would be describing characters and writing a paragraph or two about them. Our learning objective, students should be able to tell in one's own words the story read and give opinions of the text. Number 2, to describe characters and write a paragraph or two about them. So our success criteria for this morning is you can consider yourself successful if you are able to describe at least 2 characteristic traits of a character based on the story read, give at least 2 opinions or arguments about the character, and number 3, write at least 2 paragraphs about him or her. Now, this is SPM question for 2015. So I'm using this question in order to demonstrate how you can use the 4 square model writing strategy in answering the novel question. Okay, so the question here, it says, suggest one character in the novel you have read who you think is a good role model for teenagers. Briefly describe the character and give reasons for your choice with close reference to the text. Now, if we study or if we look at the question, you need to understand that the question has at least three keywords. Now, let's see whether you can identify them. So the first one would be, we're looking at one character. Okay, right? One character. Not just any particular character, but a character who will be a good role model for teenagers, right? So we're looking for a character that will be a good role model for teenagers. Okay, next keyword, describe the character. Okay, you need to describe the character a bit. And then the next one, give reasons why you think that the character is a good role model. Okay, and of course, close reference to the text. What it means here is that you need to provide textual evidence from the book. You need to make known to the examiner that you have read the book. Okay, now let's look at the keywords again. Okay, let's look at the keywords again. So number one is we're looking at a character who is a good role model. Number two, you need to describe the character a little bit. Number three, you need to give reasons why you think that character is a good role model for teenagers. And number four, you need to provide textual evidence from the text. Okay, so when you go into the exam hall, please remember to highlight the keywords so that you are answering the question. Okay, all right. Let's look at the first step here. All right. So we know the question just now is we need to identify the character. So the first thing you need to do is in the smallest square here in the middle, you need to answer the questions. In this case, the question asks you, who is the character that you choose as a good role model? So in this case here, we have answered Newt. Okay, now you can choose any other character from the book. Now, I am using Captain Nobody as an example here because majority of the schools in Pekan, they are using Captain Nobody. All right, so like I said, in the middle of the square, you need to answer the question first. So put the answer here. All right, so here we have chosen Newt. The next step is we need to give the characteristic traits why Newt is a good role model. Right, so the first thing, what can we choose here? What can we write? Shall we put because he is creative? Okay. All right, next one. Let's say we put selfless. All right. Number 3, can we put brave? Okay. Number 4, maybe responsible. Okay. I would consider him as a responsible son. All right. So now we have done the first layer. So we have given 4 characteristic traits: creative, selfless, brave, and responsible. So the next step is, once you have done this, get the students to, the teachers must provide framework or the structure for the students to follow. So these are the sentences that we can begin with. So the first thing just now we said that, all right, firstly, Newt is what just now? Creative. Okay, we put there creative. Next, he is selfless. Next, Newt is also brave. And finally, he is responsible. Responsible. Okay, so we have 4 characteristic traits and a possible 4-paragraph answer. Okay, next layer. We need to give the event to show when Newt was creative. Okay, all right. So next one here. All right. Okay, ignore this one. Okay, all right. So let's look at here, event. So when. I would say when because when he created, okay, when he created superheroes. Okay, he created superheroes like Paperboy. He created Paperboy. What else? He created also Master Key. Okay, Master Key. All right, selfless. Maybe when he climbed up the dumpster. Okay, why he was selfless? We shall answer later. Dumpster. Why did he climb? To get the drum. Okay, to get the drum. Okay, this one, when was he braved? Maybe we choose the ferret when he saved the ferret. Okay, responsible. I think quite evident when he prepared. Almost every day he prepared breakfast. For whom? For his mom and dad. Okay, all right. So we've got the event. Now that we've got the event, the next step we have to do is add some more in the sentence. Okay. So firstly, Newt is creative. We have answered this one just now. This is because he wrote or created new characters and made sketches of superheroes. And more importantly, he created Captain Nobody. So maybe we can add, all right, just now that he created like Master Key and Paperboy. All right. So next, the next layer of the square, you need to give details of the event. So when you need to give the detail how he created Paperboy and Master Key, all right, or what makes him creative. Okay, so for example, Paperboy, his character turned his hand into sorry, not Paperboy. Okay, Master Key. He turned his hands into keys. Okay. All right. And then Paperboy body became thin and can slid under doors, for example. Okay. All right. Just now, Master Key turned his hand into keys and can unlock. Unlock doors, for example. Okay. Right. I will only do this one. Okay. The rest you can feel, I suppose. All right. So maybe I can do the next one. Selfless, climb up the dumpster. So you need to give a little bit of detail about the event. So Cecil called him using, I think he's using his walkie-talkie. Then they met up. Asked Newt to get the drum. Okay. Newt afraid of height. Okay, but he still went up. Okay, the other two you can do on your own later. So because I'm just giving you an example here. All right, so we carry on by writing the sentences. So he sketched the master key, a crime fighter whose hands could transform into keys and could open any locks. He also created Paper Boy, who could flatten his body so thin he could sleep under doors. All right. So third layer has been done. All right. The final layer. This one will be, if we look at the first three layers, they are recalling of what you have learned from your teachers. But the fourth layer, you need to argue. This answer needs to come from you. Okay, this part of the question comes from you because it's asking your argument or your opinion as to why. Okay, Newt is the Newt is the role model. Okay, all right. So we need to argue that. You need to come back to the question. So having said that he is creative because he created superheroes, Paperboy, Master Key that can change his hands into keys, open locks, Paperboy. Okay, so what do you think can justify to say he is a good role model? Okay, all right. Well, we can say that he is persistent. Okay, in creating things. Okay, we can also say that he thinks outside the box. Okay, and he doesn't his characteristic is contrast to Chris. Chris is famous. He is like invisible. So despite the fact that he is not somebody famous, he kept on doing that. Okay, not famous but pursue own dream. Okay, maybe we can do that. Okay, all right. I'll just do one. Okay, so the rest you can do. So you can see how the arguments comes from you. Okay, so finally, your first paragraph would look something like this. Okay. Now, the one in blue you have answered by giving the creative characteristic trait, which is Newt is creative. Now, the green ones you've answered the event to show why he was creative. So this is because he wrote and created new characters and made sketches of superheroes. And more importantly, he created Captain Nobody. All right. The red sentences are to describe the detail of the event. So he sketched the character Master Key, crime fighter whose hands could transform into keys and could open any locks. He also created Paper Boy who could flatten his body so thin that he could sleep under doors. All right, and finally, the fourth layer, the purple ink here, though he was not somebody famous in school like his brother Chris, he never let stop him from doing something he liked. So he kept thinking outside the box by sketching and creating more superheroes until he finally created Captain Nobody, his inner other. His creativity makes him a better person and becomes a good role model for future artists like us. Okay, right. This is only the first paragraph. So you can go on to doing the same thing with the other characteristic traits. So this one for selflessness, this one for bravery, and the fourth one is being a responsible son. Okay, so these are characteristics that make him a good role model for teenagers. Now, teachers, if you are doing this in class, if you find that your students are a little bit, the task is a little bit demanding for them, you can split this square into 4 quadrants. So the first group might take the first quadrant, the second will take the second quadrant, the third will take the third quadrant, and finally the fourth quadrant will be taken up by group 4. So once they have completed each quadrant, the class will come together and finally they can come up with an essay to answer this question. Now, there are 4 quadrants here. Most probably, most of the time, you only need to find 3 content points. So what you can do here, choose the best content point, or rather, yeah, I think so, yeah. Choose the best content points that you think might get you better marks. All right, okay. Now, so like I said, this is a sample that we have done just now. Now, let's go back to the success criteria. Ask yourself whether you have been able to describe 2 characteristic traits. I think yes, we have got 4 just now. Have you been able to give 2 opinions or arguments or reasons? Yes, we give 4 as well. You think you are able to write 2 paragraphs? Yes, of course. Okay, so always come back to the success criteria. All right, now what you can do is the next step is to try this out, whether you can answer the question using the 4 square strategy by yourself. Okay, the question is, one has to struggle to improve one's life. With close reference to the text, how far is this true of the novel? Okay, this one might look a little bit challenging, all right? But anyway, just go ahead and try. So this is what the square will look like if you want to answer that question just now. So in the middle will be what the struggle is. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you need to describe the event to show when there was a problem or obstacles or challenge in life. And then you need to give the details of the events, and finally the 4th layer is your argument. Okay. All right. So good luck with that. Okay. Right. Okay, so finally for you teachers out there, remember you can use the quadrant with your students. You can divide the square into 4 quadrants if you find the task is a bit too challenging. But for good students, what you can do is create, or rather make sure that you print the 4 square onto an A3 paper so that the students can work as a team, as a group. Okay, so the very best of luck to you people out there. Thank you for listening to me. All right, good luck and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.